What's up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz back again with another deck tech. Have you heard, Carmen, of the deck that never dies? The deck that heals forever and ever, and whose turns take forever and ever?
Is that the Freefresh loop? The Madoka Freefresh loop?
The Heal Storm, as I like to call it. But yeah, Freefresh loop. This is kind of, I guess, a follow-up to the last video we did on Madoka Magica. This is the set now that is fully realized at its full potential, using a mix of cards from both the Magia Record mobile game set and the anime set. This is very similar to the list they play in JP. This is the refined list for Madoka Magica, using the Felicia combo at level 1 into some sort of top-end combo. I've seen this deck run the Choice combo at the top end, or the Bar combo at the top end, Shot combo, just Felicia into anything pretty much. But through my own testing and talking to people I know who've played the deck a lot, some really good players, Empty Gate is what I ended up settling on for the deck, and I'm not a fan of Empty Climaxes. I hate them, but it feels really good in this deck, and I guess we can get to that like as we get into it. So starting off at level 0s, we got 3 copies of the Surino Drop Search and 2 copies of the 4K Kyoko. I don't remember if the Surino is in this one or Magia Record.
I think it's anime.
She's new in this set. When I'm building, I just kind of like look at both of them at the same time. But yeah, the Surino Drop Searcher is like a really, really good plussing level 0 for Madoka Magica. Gets 1500 extra power if you have 2 or less stock, so on the first couple turns, it's going to be sitting at 3,500. The drop search effect's super useful to get climaxes out of your hand and to get your combo pieces, which, oh boy, does this deck got a juicy combo. And 2 copies of the 4K Kyoko. We really just needed a little bit extra red fix, and this is just the best level 0 red card in all of Madoka, probably.
Yep.
A little bit boring, but 4Ks are really well positioned right now, I think, anyway. A lot of like 3,500 clean cuts, and just oversized level 0s in general running around. So really solid on the first few turns of the game, and an ideal card to just throw into your level later on. On to, it's a little early in the video for it, I guess, but these are the stars of the deck. The Arrowhead Brainstormer and the Kaoru. I believe both of these cards were actually from the Magia Record set.
And the Iroho's from anime. The Kaoru's MOBA game.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to stop referring to them as by which set they're from. They're all one big happy Madoka set. That's how I see it.
Yep.
But anyway, the Iroha is a Rest 2 Brainstorm, and in the year 2021 of our Lord and Savior, that seems absolutely ridiculous that a deck would be running a Rest 2 Brainstorm, especially as a 4-of. But it has a really good first effect on it that says at the beginning of your main phase, you get a Surveil 1, which is look at the top card of your deck and either put it back on top of your deck or into your waiting room. So you just get a look and maybe move a card for free at the start of your main phase for each copy of this Iroha on your field. And the Kaoru has a similar effect, being able to scry the top card of your deck when you play it, or when it gets reversed. It also has a second secret effect that unlocks once you hit level 2, which allows you to send it to your stock to put in, to cheat into play the Kazumi from your hand. We don't actually play the Kazumi in the deck, but even though that level 2 is not in the deck, you can still pay the cost to activate the ability. So basically the Kaoru is here so we can use it to tap down for the Rest 2 Brainstorm, and then send the Kaoru to the stock. I guess at first glance, this combination of cards doesn't really seem that spectacular. There's definitely some inherent synergy to it that's pretty obvious. Being able to rest 2 cards and then send one of them to stock and then open up a spot on your field. But it goes a lot deeper than that. Do you want to talk about the heal loop a little bit, Carmen? Or
yeah, sure. So the idea behind these 2 cards together is that as you're playing into your level 2, you can continually play these cards down, scry into your successive brainstorm, and then potentially go stock positive on those brainstorms so that you can get through your deck and then refresh with the Iroha Freefresh, which we'll talk about later. Because Madoka's always had Freefreshes with the Homura, but there's a new one in blue that is better than that, and then swings in a bigger power and sends cards to memory. So the fact that it's on color and things like that, you can get through your deck selectively, sculpt for your next turns if you hit multiple on brainstorm, or at at the very least, have your brainstorms go stock neutral or stock positive, and ensure that you can continually get through your deck and sort of like stall at level 2 for like the remainder of the game after you get there.
That's pretty much the whole goal of the deck. You're constantly going to be free-freshing. Like pretty much every turn you're going to be able to play an Iroho or Homer, I guess if you wanted to run it free-fresh, the 2/1 free-fresher. You're going to be able to play it every turn, and you're just going to be brainstorming through your entire deck. You're going to be brainstorming 3-4 times a turn. And with a Rest 2 brainstorm, that seems like it could be really difficult, but the Kaoru sending itself to stock, you tap down the Kaoru to pay for the brainstorm, then you send it to stock, and then when you pay for your next brainstorm, that Kaoru gets paid out of your stock and goes to waiting room. Then when the brainstorm hits, you can take the Kaoru back to your hand, send the other Kaorus from your field to stock, play down the Kaorus from your hand that you just salvaged back, scry more cards so your next brainstorm will hit. So you're getting constantly like 5-6 card brainstorms, so they're going to be hitting, and you just keep taking the Kaorus back, and you just keep salvaging the same Kaorus that you're paying out, and you can get through your whole deck. And you start going stock positive on the brainstorm when you if you hit 2 climaxes, I believe. Yeah, when you hit 2 climaxes, you can take 2 Kaorus back. So you pay 1 stock, and then you get 2 Kaorus, which will then later translate to 2 stock. It's a little bit complicated the first few times you play the deck, but once you get a rhythm for it, it becomes a lot quicker and a lot easier. I don't want to like take too long discussing this combo, but this is like the big engine in the new Madoka decks nowadays. But moving on to the rest of our level 0s, we got 3 copies of the Iroha Riki and 1 copy of the Reina Assist. You can tap her to give 1,000 power somewhere, or pay 1 to put her in your waiting room and get a level 0 character back from your waiting room to the field. This overlaps a bit with a level 1 Iroha we were playing as well. They pretty much do the same thing, allowing you to tap and give power, or to pay 1 and sacrifice it to get another card, with slightly different effects. But I chose to run a copy of this card because it is red, and there's not a lot of good red cards, like I said earlier. At level 0, not a lot of good spots to put in red fix, and having an extra level 0s as opposed to level 1s nice to be able to consistently get through the early game. And that's it for level 0. It's pretty clean level 0 lineup. A lot of 4-ofs and 3-ofs. Moving on to level 1, we got the Felicia combo. This is like the new generation of Shimakaze combos, I'd say. The on reverse salvage combo, but it's actually 1,000 power bigger than usual. Usually these combos will only get to like 7k power, but the Felicia gets to 7k on her own, and then the climax pumps her to 8k. And you have ways to further pump that too. So even in a standby heavy meta, you shouldn't really have trouble getting a reverse with a Felicia or 2. And on the reverse, you can also pay 1 and reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a character, draw it. So you can potentially +2 on a single reverse, which is really nice. And the fact that the pay 1's optional is also really nice. You don't have to go for it if you're running high on hand, but if you need to pay out a climax that you just triggered, let's say, it's a really nice way to do that before you keep going with your attacks. This is probably the best plussing combo Madoka has at level 1. You're probably either running this or the blue Yachiyo combo if you want a plussing combo in Madoka. This is probably the better one because it hits a bigger power threshold and it's off a better trigger. But like the Yachiyo is fine too if you wanted to run more blue for whatever reason.
I think the only other option is like the bag, right? The Yachiyo bag that like sits at 6k. You like try to win board and then like stock charge, because that's not a plussing combo, it's a stock charge combo. Something like that.
Yeah, so like if you're willing to give up the plussing combo, you can run the level 1 bag combo from the new set, which is stock chargers on attack. I think the Felicia combo is probably preferred, at least in my own experience. Yeah. And even if you want extra stock, like we said before, the Kaorus kind of count as a stock on their own, so you could always just like salvage a Kaoru back and then get a stock off that later if you want. And Choice Trigger helps you get stock if you need it as well. But I really don't run into a lot of stock issues playing the deck. Even though you're brainstorming so many times in the turn, the fact that the Kaorus always refund the stock is it definitely gives you a lot of sustain to the combo. And then for some auxiliary level 1s, 1 copy of this Iroha Assist to tap and give 1,500 power, and then you can pay 1, sacrifice it, look at the top 4 of your deck for a character. This is the card I was mentioning earlier that's similar to the level 0 Reina. 1 copy of the Morning Glow Sayaka. You can pretty much just disregard the first effect. It doesn't really come up. That's not why we're playing the card. The reason to play it though is on play, it draws a card and discards a card. And since we have so many ways to scry our deck, whether it be for free at the start of the turn with the Iroho, or whenever we play Cavalry down and get to scry. Sometimes we might like to draw that card on the top of the deck, and that is where the Sayaka comes into play. You might also notice that the Sayaka is also a Sayaka, so we can use it with my favorite card, Sayaka's Wish. Always a plus. And probably the biggest draw to playing red, and the thing that got me to try the Empty Gate build in the first place, is the Out Towards the World Kyoko, the level 1 bomb. This is from one of the older Madoka sets, so an old card. Might have to hunt that one down, but it's a level 1 Suicider, and when itself gets reversed in battle, you get to give 1500 power somewhere, which is a lot of power to give and synergizes very nicely with the level 1 Felicia combo. If 8000's not big enough, you slam one of these bad boys in and give 1500 more power. Really nice effect to have on a Suicider that's dying anyway. Moving on to level 2s, 2 copies of the Arrowhead Freefresh and 1 copy of the Jeanne d'Arc back row, which is a frontal 2k assist to your level 3s, and you can pay 1 and send it to memory to heal. This is kind of where we get into the healing part of the deck, I suppose. The healing part of the heal loop. You have the Iroho, which is just gonna, as we mentioned before, is going to refresh your deck when you have 5 or less cards. So you're just gonna brainstorm and scry down to the last few cards in your deck, and then drop this and refresh your deck. And the Jeanne will help your early plays live and hold board, and can also be an extra heal in a pinch, which is really nice. And only a couple more level 2s really. We got the Kyoko anti-change counter. There's a blue option from the anime set that does literally the same thing, but we need more red, so run the Kyoko. And then the 2-1 Leafa counter, which is the shot promo. Ooh, and I see you put my little spicy card on there too, Carmen.
Yes, I did.
I'm glad you did that. I was going to mention that. So outside of the Kyoko anti-change counter, Madoka really doesn't have a whole lot of good backup options. Not any good traditional backup options. Madoka as a set has a lot of really janky events and weird backups that will just do like a variety of things. And honestly, you could tech kind of whichever one you want in. Whether it be the Grief Seed counter that gives a lot of power either on your turn or your opponent's turn, or another one I've been really wanting to try out is the Back Alley Pals. You know what? You know that card, Carmen? The one with the cat on it?
Yeah.
The cat event. And then there's also like the Alina counters too that like give your character just like encore, and then there's the one that like shrinks your opponent's whole field by 1000 power or whatever. There's a lot of really cool options you could try in this spot, but the red Leafa counter is probably just like the most stable option, with the added benefit of being red and a salvageable character. Moving on to our early plays, we got 2 copies of the New Story Sayaka and the 2 copies of the Sayaka's Wish event that goes with it. If you watched our last deck tech for Magia Record, we discussed this in a lot of detail there, but the basic premise of this is on play, the Sayaka can discard a card and salvage its own event, the event being able to sacrifice any Sayaka character when attacked and heal the top card of your clock back to your hand and send itself to memory. A very old school but still very good healing option, and a cheeky way to deny your opponent's reverse as well. More relevant though, since the last video we made, is Sayaka's other effect though, to get 4500 power and turning off backups on the turn cycle she's played. The metagame has shifted to be very standby focused since Dallas come out, so being able to just get over any sort of defensive threat your opponent has in front of you and turning off their ability to counter over you is very, very nice. And the fact that you get the power cross turn means they have to run into the same issue on the swing back into your turn if they don't have a way to level down your character with the Shido event or blink the Sayaka with a Shido. She's still going to be a massive wall that they have to deal with. It's not that they can't deal with it, but you know, they have to go through some extra steps to deal with it. So very good card in the Data Live meta. The other early play we use is the Felicia, the Felicia from the Mobage set. Again, we talked about this card before. It heals on play, 2 or less climaxes, gets 1000 power for each of your back row. Really, really good early play. Yeah, I don't really know much more to say about this. I feel like it's a pretty straightforward card. When you have the Jeanne back row behind it, it's going to be sitting at 13k, which is a pretty good number on the swing back. I haven't crunched the numbers on it, Carmen, but you convinced me to put the Jeanne back row in because it like hits a good threshold.
So The general like baseline power threshold in English for early plays is like 10-5, and then if they have a 2K in front support, 12-5. So if you're sitting at 13 cross turn, you are winning field without expending a backup, which I think is really relevant, even when you're running 2 backups like this list specifically. You want to be able to win field with Madoka. You want to like keep as much as you can while leaving enough field slots open to do your Kaoru loop, which is like you can typically win 1 front row and keep your back row, 1 back row slot, so you have 3 slots to play with. And I think that's where you want to be for Madoka. But that's just like sort of like my personal opinion on it. But we had like an extended thing on it because like 12-5 versus 13. I think it's meaningful when Dal is like the big thing, and like 2-2s are 10-5, and their early play is also 10-5. And then Shizu is also 10-5. So like you're like 10-5 to 12-5. Yeah.
When you really like break it down and look at it, there's a lot of early plays that get to 10,500 power, or like 12-5 with the assists. Like Data Live sit at 10-5 and get pumped 2K. There's the Shizu in Slime 10,500 and then has the 2K assist behind it. Konosuba, I believe, is the same. The Union sits at 10-5 and you have the Aqua support behind it as well. So everything's kind of hitting 12-5. So being able to sit 500 power above and make your opponent have to play a climax or play some additional form of power pump means that you're going to be living a lot more often than you would with other early plays. And even if your opponent is able to pump over it and clear it, you have your backup to trump them. And then moving on to like the other level 3s, we have 1 copy of Sayaka from the original Madoka set. It's a pretty unimpressive card overall. I was a little bit reluctant to put this in my deck, but turns out it's like a really good use of a flex spot. Being Sayaka name means that it is a Sayaka's Wish target, which is like a really big deal. And just being an extra copy of a healer that sits bigger than a lot of other threats can be a bit of a final hurdle for your opponent to deal with. Like if you have a full field and the Jean assist behind this, that's like 14k, which is pretty beefy. And then I guess you could call these the quote-unquote finishers of the deck. We have 2 copies of the intuitive type Kyoko, which is a healer on play and pay 2, ditch 1, burn 1 on attack. And this super cool pay 6, give your whole field, cancel burn Kyoko. Pay 6 on attack is a shitload of stock to pay, but again, remember you can use the Kaorus to help you generate stock, and the Kyoko herself is a stock healer, so it's not as daunting as it seems, but it's still something you kind of have to plan for if you want to go for that.
More there for the stock heal, right? Just in general.
I think it's kind of there for both. It's like a 1-costed healer option at the end of the game if you don't have enough stock to play 2 things. And it is like an actual way of pushing damage at the end game, because by running Empty Gate, you get easier access to your Kaoru level 0s, or just like whatever else you need along the way, but specifically the Kaoru level 0s for your looping combo. But you do give up having a dedicated finisher, something like the Iroha off of Choice or the Surano off of Shot Trigger, which a lot of times you'll see run with this heal loop sort of deck. But after play testing, the Empty Gate does feel really good. And even if you're someone like me who hates empty climaxes, I would try the Empty Gate deck. Being able to salvage a Kaoru feels really good. The first time I salvaged a Kaoru with a gate, I'm like, I'm not going back. This is broken.
Yeah, because it gives you another brainstorm. Every Kaoru you salvage is an additional brainstorm with 4 mill, which in like a Freefresh deck where you want to mill and heal is just like way too valuable.
Yeah, and that's the deck. I thought I was gonna have a lot more to say on this, but the whole deck's just pretty much the Kaoru, and it's kind of like just there to support that little loop. You can kind of shoehorn in whatever level 1 or level 3 combos you want, but I would say that pretty much any competitive Madoka deck is probably going to be running the Brainstorm loop package.
And it's worth noting, like, the doors are empty, so you can either swag out and run 4 different doors, or you can try to trick your opponent into that you're running a combo and run 4 of 1 door.
Yeah, like, honestly, if I was really trying to trick my opponent, I'd probably just run 4 of the Akira door. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
The one of the curtain girl.
Yep.
That one has like the most usable like level 3 combo. It has like some burn combo.
If you were like super super min-maxing, right?
Honestly, if you want to try the gate trigger, and have a little bit more damage push, if you need it, you could try running the Akira gate with the level 3 red Akira finisher. It like burns X on attack equal to, it's on attack or reverse, I don't know. It burns X equal to the number of cards in your clock, which is really awkward because this deck really wants to just heal a lot. If you noticed from the title of the deck, or just every single level 3 in the deck pretty much healing, the Freefresher, meaning you're never taking refresh damage, you just heal infinitely with this deck. So doubling down on the healing is really what you're going to be doing and what's going to be winning you your games. So having a finisher that burns equal to number of cards in your clock is like, you're probably not going to get it off. But if you wanted to try to fit that in, that's definitely an option.
Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say on it.
Yeah, I think it's like a little more straightforward than it might seem. But yeah, card games, competitive. If you're trying to play some games on webcam or maybe talk about Weiss, definitely check those out. Global and NA, if you're trying to buy, sell, trade Weiss, or see reveals for JP, definitely check those out. And WeissFight.net, you want to try this deck out, you want to try before you buy, definitely get in there, copy it from Encore Decks, and play a couple games. There's a really thriving community, and if you're interested in making that project even better, join the Discord in the link that we have both on the video and in the link below in the description, and definitely get the devs some information. They're really quick at responding to information that you provide about how to make the simulator better. So definitely check that out. And with that, I think we're done. Pittsburgh White Sports signing off. We'll see you guys in the next one.